Hello! Welcome to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Since Christmas is like, what, 2 days away, I thought let's do something fun, let's do something festive, and guess what? That's this, the Cozy Christmas book tag. As always, I will leave the questions and the original creator in the description box down below if you are interested. But I'm sure we all have a little last minute gift wrapping to do. Guilty. I don't know why I put it off to the last minute, but I did. I've got a few done and I have a ton more to do, so let's get into this so that I can go wrap some presents. Question number 1. Twinkling lights. What is the most beautiful book you own? These tags, I mean, they really make me think. And this is hard because it's subjective, right? I mean, it really is. It's subjective, but I do have a few options here. Okay, so if we're thinking like all around book, I really do like it when there are aspects to the book covers where they mean something. Those are aspects that are found within the story, and the book cover starts to make sense whenever you find those little nuggets of information within the story. That being said, Furthermore by Tahara Mafi, I think this is a gorgeous book cover. Isn't that gorgeous? There's just so much going on here. I mean, the actual cover tells a story. Really gorgeous. And I also was really drawn to the Magnolia Parks books when they first came out. First, I didn't know what the heck this was, but then when I actually got the book in my hand and I started looking at it, it became even more cool to me because this is exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like this is going to tell a story as well. Like, I'm going to get bits and pieces of these when I start reading this story, as well with the subsequent 2 books that come after this. But I think that this is gorgeous, and I'm really drawn to book covers that are like this. And then there's another route for me where the book is beautiful to me because it means something to me. I have a connection with that book, and when I see it, it brings that connection back up. And one book that really does this for me is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This is a haunting cover, but when I look at it, when I see this, it takes me right back to the story, and it means something to me. So I think this is beautiful because of what it did to me, like the impact that it had on me. That's why I think it's beautiful. So, and then for some reason, like, I started looking at my books, and like I started picking up books where like most of the covers were very haunting. I'm like, what does that say about me? That I like covers that have a little bit of a, I don't know, but it's gorgeous to me. Question number 2. Perfect tree. Will you pay more to get the prettiest edition of a book? Yes. And any book lover, I feel, will say yes. Especially if I don't respond to like the prior format of the book, or if the book stands out to me more. A really good example would be the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. So let's take my favorite one so far, which is Stolen Air. I'm not really drawn to the first set of covers, but this new branding that she's done basically with like all of her books so far, especially this series, is absolutely gorgeous. I love that what is on the cover ties into the story, and it makes it just that much more impactful for me, and it's definitely something that I want in my collection. Question number 3. Build a snowman. Make a Christmas book stack, color or themed. So this clearly is not a question, but stay tuned. Here is my color themed stack. Question number 4. Crackling fire. What book makes you feel warm and cozy? Again, I do have a couple different answers for this one. My first one would be Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. This was my first book by Colleen Hoover, and it was unlike anything that I have read before. Typically the books that I have read prior to that really didn't have a playlist, whereas now we see a lot of books that do have a playlist that go along with it, which is really awesome. However, this book has not only a playlist, but it has a soundtrack that was made specifically for this book. Ridge and Sydney write music in this book, and you can listen to that music, and it just, I don't know, it does something to me. When I listen to the soundtrack for this book, it always makes me feel the exact same way that I felt the first time that I read this book, and it just takes me right back. So yes to this. And then this might sound a little weird, but also The Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. Now this series does give me the warm and cozy feelings because when I look at these books or think about the series, it takes me again right back. This series was the start of my adult obsession with books. I have always been an avid reader, but there was a chunk in my young adult life where I wasn't picking up books as much as I used to. I was always reading when I was younger, always had a book in my hand, loved to read, just absolutely loved it. But for whatever reason, life got in the way and I just wasn't picking them up consistently like I always had. And it's weird, but I always felt like something was missing, and it was reading. And I had this immense pull to start reading more again. And I also had the need to actually hold physical books again because I had been reading a lot on my Kindle and I didn't really have that physical book feeling anymore. And this was the start of that. And this series also started the growth of my collection. So question number 5, knee-high socks. What is the longest book that you've read? So I had to scroll through Goodreads and look back through the years, and I found it. It was in 2017, and it is Winter by Marissa Meyer. It has 832 pages. Question number 6, ugly sweaters. What's the ugliest book you own? Again, this is very subjective. One thing that really turns me off on a book is bad cover models that don't make sense. I don't like that. And I have talked about these before. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't think that they are ugly. I just don't prefer them. I think that the cover art could have been drastically better. They just don't do it for me. So I hate to say ugly because that's just wrong and mean, but they just don't do it for me. They could be better. Like I don't know what this is. I don't know. So that's mine. Question number 7, blizzards. A book set in winter or a book that gives you the chills has dark themes. Okay, so I really couldn't think of a book that was just completely set in winter, and not where it like spans a length of time and you're in winter and then you're not. But something that has a dark theme. Since I love dark romance so much, there are many that I could name. However, I'm going to go with one of the first dark romances, or in this case, series that I read, and it really got me into this genre. I was able to kind of dip my toes in, and I had previously read other works by this author and really enjoyed them and kind of tiptoed my way into the dark. Really liked it, and here we are today. I am talking about the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. So very good. Each book follows one of the crew. I think there are like 4 books and there's 2 novellas, but very good. If you haven't read them, I highly recommend them. Penelope Douglas was pretty damn good. And that brings us to our last question number 8, which is home for the holidays. For the rereaders out there, are there any books that feel like going home? I don't know about going home, but I will tell you about the books that I have reread or plan on rereading in the very near future. And I can't fast forward without first giving an honorable mention to Harry Potter. I think that's maybe like the closest thing to going home that I will find. I'm really excited to get into these with my daughter. When she gets a little bit older, these are some books that I definitely plan to share with her, and that's going to be a really fun time for mama and daughter. However, let's talk about some books that I've reread. I have reread Maybe Someday. I believe I've read it 3 times. I will most absolutely be rereading the Off Balance series because, I mean, need we say more? It's, if you know me, you know this. I also have reread Punk 57 and Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas at least twice a piece. I will reread Love Unexpected again by Q.B. Tyler because, oh my god, one of my favorites. Absolutely one of my favorites. Another one would be A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner, and as well as Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. These are all books that I will be rereading again. These are all books that just live rent-free up here, and, you know, they just need to be revisited like an old good friend. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for our cozy Christmas book tag. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. I'd love to hang out with you guys more. I've had a lot of fun with this content this year, and I can't wait to see where it goes and grows next year. And I've really enjoyed making the connections that I have with you guys. So please subscribe. I'd love to have you hang around a little bit longer. And whatever it is that you are celebrating this holiday season, I hope that you are surrounded by love and laughs and friends and, of course, really good books. Until next time, guys, happy reading.